We are all connected through shared experiences, and while our circumstances may vary, there is almost always a common thread in our stories. I am Amy Seaman, and these are the stories that connect us.
Oh, hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of A Common Thread podcast. If you don't know by now, I'm your host, Amy Seaman. Today, I have with me Kate Lasher. Kate and I worked when I hired her in my corporate job 9 or 10 years ago?
Yeah. 2014, I think, or something like that. It was a couple years out of college.
Yeah, about 9 years ago. We worked together for a few years, and I did not realize until the day that I was leaving that Kate was experiencing similar trauma as I was. And let me just tell you, that guilt has stayed with me for a very long time.
I mean, I was young. I was like 24 and new into like the corporate world. I started at a startup and then came there. And the startup community is just like 1,000 times different, and it's kind of a scary landscape if you're not used to it. And so when I came to Capella, it was much more professional. So I think I didn't even realize the things that were happening to me were necessarily bad when they were happening.
Yeah. But I think the guilt came from just like having not been there for you because I was going through my own trauma. So it's been 7 years since we've seen each other. So I reached out to Kate and I wanted her to come on because we have to unpack some of this. We have not unpacked it. So I was like, let's do it. Let's do it live. Let's talk through it. Also, in honor of Pride Month, I wanted to bring Kate on to share her story because when I last saw her, you were newly married to a man. I was at the wedding. My husband and I were at the wedding. And now you are living your most authentic lesbian life.
Yes.
And and I'm here for it because you, just watching you on Instagram, you are just like lit from the inside. Like you look so genuinely happy. Yeah. And so I thought, like, if you're willing to share your story, I think that there are going to be men and women that are listening that are still suppressing parts of who they are. And my hope is that this gives them the courage to really start to step into how they want to show up into the world and are meant to show up into the world. And so thank you for coming on and being vulnerable and catching up.
Oh, yeah.
We did not prep, by the way. So this is all like new to me too. And I'm very excited to hear everything. So.
Yeah. Well, where should we start?
Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with our time together in corporate America. So when I hired Kate, I had just come up with the idea that we needed to build a client success function in our sales organization. And so I was given the opportunity to do that, to create it, to lead it, to build a team. So Kate and one other were my hires. We were a team of 3. We built that from the ground up. Mm-hmm. And none of us knew what we were doing. None of us had experience in client success. And I actually remember when you came in for your interview, I was like, this chick is so cool. Like, I just thought you were the coolest. And I knew right away that I wanted to hire you. And my boss at the time had some reservations, I think because you didn't have the experience. And I was like, no, I just like see something in her. She is not afraid to like speak up. I know that she can help me. We'll work well together, whatever. And we did. We worked really well together. And then after a couple years of getting that client success function up and running, I got bored and I'm on to the next thing. This is how I work. I just create something, I set it in motion, and then I'm ready for the next. And so I had moved into a product manager role at that time. And then you and Mike rolled up underneath my boss, who we will call Johnny. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's when things went south for you. And also for me, so I was dealing with, and I didn't even share with anyone what was happening because I was trying to protect everyone from carrying the weight of what I was dealing with. And also I didn't want to be cancerous if I was dealing with stuff, I didn't want other people to just like feel that and carry that. So I didn't share much, but I was being sexually harassed by our VP. Yeah. I was also being grossly mistreated by many of the male leaders and female. We had some of the women were nasty to me, like straight up high school mean girl, nasty to me. Yeah. And so I was dealing with all of that. And at the time that I decided to come forward to HR, when I'd had enough and knew I had to leave, I was just very physically unwell. And I knew I had to leave. And so those last 3 weeks while we were going through the investigation, I worked from home. So I wasn't even in the office. And I think that's when I say like I had a lot of guilt is when I came in my last day to get all of my stuff, you and I had a moment, and I think I can count on one. Like, I think I've seen you cry twice. I remember once in the wedding planning process and then this time. But I felt like I was always intuitive with you of like kind of knowing when something was going on because you masked it really well, but I could usually tell when something was off. And so I think I felt guilty that I wasn't there to see that you were struggling and like be a support system for you or help fight for you. And you had just kind of like briefly shared what was happening, and then I left, and then I haven't seen you in 7 years.
Yeah.
So share, because I feel like so many people who have been with me since my corporate start have had very similar experiences where corporate America can be really toxic. Mm-hmm. So share what was happening to you.
I mean, it was the classic, you're young and a woman and your opinions / thoughts don't really matter. Mm-hmm. And it was very evident. The one thing that's really stuck in my mind that was just so inappropriate, and I think you overheard this, but I was just like too stunned to speak, was when the VP came up to me after I got home from my honeymoon and asked how it was, and then he said, well, clearly you ate well. Like, I can tell you've gained weight. And I was like, right. What? And then he said, but I bet you know, you had a good time that worked off some calories. Yeah. Wink. And it's like, well, I think I was just like so taken back that I didn't know what to say.
Yeah. You know? I forgot about that. I remember that he walked away and I came right up to you and I was like, are you good? Mm-hmm. We need to write this down. Mm-hmm. Document everything. Always document everything. Yes. Yeah. He was so inappropriate and creepy, and I'm glad he's gone. I don't know where he is now. Hopefully he's not still in a court. Hopefully retired. But
God, let's hope. He was old, so hopefully he's resting in peace. I'm just kidding. But no, Johnny was especially tough. You know, I was just kind of there to be there, and he didn't care about what I said or did or my ideas or anything. So I didn't get a lot of say in a lot of things, and I honestly think I've trauma dumped a lot of this out of my brain, especially after coming out. I think at that point in my life, I was so confused about a lot of things. I just got married, and even at my wedding day, I was like, what did I just do? And so I think so much was going on that I kind of was like, whatever is happening here at Capella, it sucks, but like my other life part is worse. And so I didn't even get a chance to really like feel the feelings, you know.
But he would say things, cruel things to you. You were sitting, our cubes were like right across from each other, and he would say cruel things to you, right? And then you would DM or instant message Mike, or who was the other? There was another project manager, I think, that was there. But you were smart enough to put it in writing. Did you just hear what he said and you wrote what he would say? Because he would say really mean things.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I can't even
call you names and stuff. I don't remember the specifics, but I remember it was like really cruel.
Yeah, it was like I was stupid.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And publicly and in front of other people. And you went to HR with this, did you not?
Yeah, when I did my exit interview.
Because I remember telling you, I'm like, hey, you have to go to HR with this. If you do nothing else, you have to go to HR. Because I had gone to HR with complaints about Johnny as well.
Yeah.
And
I came to them during my exit interview because I was like, I can't be here anymore. I found a new job. You were gone, so I didn't have really like a support system. And the company, like you said, was just toxic to begin with. But I told them my experience, and they just kind of played it off. And they just made me feel like I misinterpreted what he said to me. You know, even if it was documented, I shared all the emails, shared all the things, the terrible things he would say, you know, in our teams and even, again, in person and in front of people. I mean, he's yelled at me in front of people, called me stupid. I mean, it was bad. And I remember when he took me out to coffee for my last day, Johnny, and was like, basically told me, I was telling him about this new job and how it's at a startup, and I'm actually still working there at Gravy. I love Gravy. And he just told me I wasn't going to succeed, and like, why am I putting my time into a startup that, you know, you don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but obviously you weren't a good fit for Capella. You know, stuff like that, where it's like, damn, that's harsh to hear. Like, why'd you take me out to coffee just one last time to berate me? You know what I mean? It's just,
that is quite upsetting to hear. Yeah. This was also the gentleman that and I've shared my story many a times, but when I first was like when the VP really crossed the line with me to the point of like, this is super inappropriate, I went to Johnny right after it happened because he was there. And so after his meeting, I went to him and I was like, did you hear that? Did you see what he said? And he was like, he said something. I didn't know what he said. I'm like, let me tell you what he said. Let me tell you how it made me feel. And he just stood there. You know, he didn't like, he doesn't know how to handle conflict, which as a leader, like, come on. Yeah. Johnny was always out for Johnny. Yeah. And would do anything to get himself promoted. Yeah. And so he did nothing. And then it didn't matter that when I went to 2 other female leaders and I had text messages, screenshots of text messages with them, this is what he said. He made me feel super inappropriate. That wasn't enough evidence. Right. When they asked Johnny about it, he claimed he could no longer recall me ever coming to him. I sat down in front of him and I said, I need you to look me in the eye and tell me you do not recall me coming to you. I've tried everything. I've even told him that you said he's creepy and he makes you uncomfortable. And I was like, well, that should be enough evidence. And I went back to HR and they go, Johnny never said that to us. He never told us any of that. Yeah. So he lied because he knew as a leader, you are required to report any instance of sexual harassment, and he did not. Yes. And so he knew he was going to get in trouble for that, and so he decided to protect himself. I don't know if you saw this on Instagram a couple years ago, like 2 years ago. He was coaching my son in lacrosse.
I did not.
So, what? Yep. So
what?
Yes. So I show up to lacrosse. So his son is older and plays in the team above my son's team. And I didn't know this until I show up and he's there. And I'm like, and I have not seen him since this all happened. And I'm like stunned. I'm like, okay. But my husband had warned me, just so you know, Johnny is the coach of the team above ours, whatever. And I was like, okay. So he's like, you may run into him. Like, he gave me that, like, you may run into him. I'm like, okay, but I'm safe. My son is safe. He's not coaching him. Yeah. All of a sudden, I overhear Johnny say to someone, yeah, so this coach isn't able to start for another month, so I'm going to be the interim coach for this team. I get in the car, Kate. My body goes into fight mode. Like, I didn't even know what was happening. Yeah. I was so hysterical. I had a full-blown panic attack. Yeah. I couldn't drive. I was so hysterical. Chris is on a plane. I'm trying to get a hold of him. I can't. I call my mom. I can't even get words out. I'm so upset. And she's like, stay there. Your dad is going to come get you. Like, my dad came and got me and drove me home because I couldn't. And I lived 5 minutes down the road. I couldn't even drive. And then I was like, when I got home, I felt like I had the flu. Like, I was like, after I'd calmed down, like, I was like aching and migraine and all of this. And I talked to my therapist about it. And she's like, your body immediately went into fight or flight mode because he was somebody as a leader that was supposed to keep you safe, and he did not keep you safe. Yeah. And now all of a sudden your child is in his care, and your body is saying he is not safe, he is not safe, he is not safe. So I had to work through some additional, like, I thought I had healed until that reopened some wounds. And so I had to do some additional, like, therapy to get through it. Now I still see him often, and I just refuse to even talk to him. He tried to come up to me at one point. He's like, hey, how you doing? And I just looked at him and I said, it's taken me a long time to heal from the trauma I went through. And he looked genuinely confused, Kate. Like, what? And I was like, and my therapist had told me, she was like, you'll never get the apology that you deserve from him. And so, and he starts trying to tell me about, oh, well, so-and-so is still there. And I go, I'm going to stop you right here.
I don't care.
I do not care. I cannot go back to that place. I do not care. He goes, well, you're still doing fashion stuff though, right? Oh, God. And I was like, I'm doing well. Yeah. And I just, like, walked away. Yeah. And Declan saw this happening, and he's very intuitive. And so he came up to me and he's like, you okay, Mom? I'm like, I'm fine. And he's like, who was that? And I was like, and I froze because I didn't even know how to answer it. Yeah. And luckily Chris was right there, and Chris said, he goes, he was someone that had the opportunity to do the right thing and he chose not to.
That's a good answer.
And I was like, thank you. Like, I needed him to say that. Yeah. And I've never said anything else about it because my son may have to, I'm like, if he ever gets put on his team, I will go to the board. Like, I will not allow him to ever be his actual full-time coach. But I'm like, it is what it is.
What are the odds?
I know.
Jesus, like, the universe is crazy.
It's like the ghost of corporate America.
Yes. That place still gives me, like, I have dumped everything out of my mind. When I went to Gravy, it was like I was an injured puppy. When someone told me I did a good job, it was like, really? Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to unlearn all these bullying things that you got at this recent company. And it's crazy that that still happens, you know?
Yeah. I'm sure it still does.
I mean, I'm a leader now, and
Good for you.
you know, yeah, it's great. And I've been approached with, you know, sexual harassment issues, and I think because of those events that happened to me, I have gone very far in making Gravy and other companies like a better place to work. You know what I mean? Because when people feel supported and they can feel safe in their environment, they are just better people, you know,
For sure.
They provide better work, they like their job, you know, they're not stressed out constantly. It's a good environment.
Yeah. I'm so happy you're in a better spot.
Yeah.
And I hope that you always felt that I believed in you, and I knew that you would do amazing things. You know, it's like I said, I think just like having heard that from you and then walked away not seeing you, I just was like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Was there, you know, what could I have done differently? Because that's why I stayed far longer than I should have, because I cared too much about the people that were there that I wanted to protect from that. In hindsight, I should have left years before I did.
Yeah.
But I now have a platform to share my story, and I hope that it helps other people who are going through something similar, or if they find themselves in a similar situation, that they remember this and what happened and how to move through it. But
yeah, and I think it makes people, I think you helped me realize that it is not okay. Like, I think when you're a young woman and it's become the norm, you don't even realize that it's not okay. It was you that came to me and said that was not appropriate, and then it made me think, you know what I mean? So I think, yeah, you did do an amazing job, even if it feels like, you know, you didn't put an end to it, but you still made it known.
put things in motion.
Yeah.
So let's talk about then what else was going on. So you were getting married. So did you know, like you said, did you know going into this marriage that this wasn't
Yeah, I mean,
right for you, or?
Andrew, really nice guy, you knew him.
Oh yeah, super sweet guy.
Very nice. It just, something always felt off, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but I have an older sister, and we're Irish twins, so we're, you know, very close in age. And I was just so confused about my life that I would just do whatever she did. So, like, she got engaged, I got engaged. It was all 1 year apart from each other, you know? Even when I was in college, I just started randomly, I changed my major like 10 times because I didn't know what I wanted and didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And so I got married because he asked. And that's what you do. You say yes. And it wasn't until COVID that it really hit me that, oh no, oopsies. Oopsie doopsies. And that was like 3 years in, because we got married in 2017. And I don't know if you want me to just start telling my story, but so it was during COVID, and again, this might be TMI, but you're bored. You're really bored. And God, I remember some low moments where this one night, this was like rock bottom. All I drank was like gin straight from the bottle and like Cheez-Its. Like it was just, and I thought at the time it was like a fun thing to do. But these things that I had been doing, now I think about them and I'm like, oh my God, she was so sad.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize how sad you are until you stop and take a breath. And I think that's what COVID did for a lot of us, is it made us look inward and it made you think more, and you weren't out in the world getting all this, you know, input or having these distractions. And so,
did Andrew pick up on your sadness? Like, did he know that you were struggling, or were you trying to keep it from him
no one
too?
did. You said the word mask, and that really resonates with me because I have ADHD. I've had it since I was 5, and I see it as my superpower.
As do I.
Yeah, it's a superpower if you know how to like harness it. Yeah. But ADHD, people with ADHD are very good at masking. They will mask themselves around every type of person to make sure that they feel comfortable and of what the other person is expecting of them, usually. Now, when you feel confident in yourself and you are exhausted of doing that, you'll stop masking and you'll find these people that either give you energy when you're done hanging out with them, or you'll feel drained. And you probably feel drained because you've been masking the entire time. So, yeah, I was masking. I was always tired. I was always crying. Oh my God, I would cry in the shower, cry in the car, cry everywhere. And you know, I don't cry that.
No, you don't.
No. And so I think he knew I was just, he knew I was sad because, you know, I wasn't my fun, crazy self all the time. But I don't think he knew the magnitude of it. No one did. My parents didn't. My sister, none of my friends knew. And so I don't know how TMI I can be on this podcast. But so
you can.
Classic, when you don't know if you're gay or not, but you're starting to realize you might be, is I found lesbian TikTok. Okay. If you haven't seen lesbian TikTok, go watch it.
I'm not even on TikTok.
Oh my God.
This is how old I am. I just haven't.
Oh my God. Well, now when I watch it, it's like, oh, cringe. But like when you're realizing, like, I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but I did. And it was my entire algorithm of this lesbian TikTok.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, these women are so hot and pretty and holy shit.
Was that the first time that you felt like you started having interest in women, or do you think it was always a little bit there, you just didn't realize it?
It was always a little bit there. I have this hilarious story where in college I had a roommate that had a long-term boyfriend or a long-distance boyfriend, and she came to me and we had been drinking and she was like, I just want to make out with someone, I miss kissing him. And I was like, I'll kiss you. So we like made out in the closet at our house, and literally in the closet, in the pantry, and I don't know, for like 5 seconds, and she was like, oh my God, that was crazy. And so she left, and I was like, yeah, that was nuts. But I was like, wait, that was kind of fun. So I always liked women, but I just thought everyone thought women were beautiful. Like, women are beautiful and they're perfect beings. And I just never really had a thing for men. Andrew was tall, or is tall, I guess. He's alive. But, you know, he's just tall and he's goofy, and we were friends.
You were buds.
And so,
I kind of remember you saying that, actually. Like, when I saw your post where you had come out, I was like, okay, actually, looking back, like, that sort of tracks, because I remember you said that he would get annoyed because when you would drink, you would treat him like a bud.
Right? Is
that true?
Yes. And he's like, you never give words of affirmation. You're never lovey-dovey. And I'm like, oh, God. We had a rule in our house, and this is what really sealed the deal. That he couldn't, and I feel bad even thinking about this, but he couldn't come out of the shower if he wasn't clothed. Like, do not open the shower door if you don't have clothes on. That makes me want to throw up. Like,
yes.
That's a sign. On my bridal shower, there were so many signs. At my bridal shower, we ended up at a strip club, and I was just getting like lap dances and like making best friends with these strippers and like dancers, excuse me. But things like that it's like, Kate, come on. So I started watching lesbian TikTok, and then I started watching lesbian porn. And it's because I was curious if like that intimacy was what I was into, or are these people just like kind of hot on TikTok? And I was really into it. And it was more like, oh shit moment, not like a relief necessarily. It was like a relief, but it's a oh shit moment, because it's like, I'm married. And no one knows this. And I've always had boyfriends, always. I'm like a monogamous dater, you know what I mean? So it was, you know, October time frame, and I had come out to some friends saying like, I think I'm bi. Bi.
Did that feel safer for you to say?
Yeah, because I truly didn't know. I was like, I know I really like women, but Andrew's great.
I've been with men.
Yeah, I've been with men, and Andrew's great. You know, he's a good partner. I wasn't like, I'm also attracted to him necessarily, but I was like, he's my partner. Like, there is no going back. I've made this decision. So I guess that's what I have to be. And oh my God, I was like crying. I told my friends, one of them, Brendan, he's gay, and he was just like, oh my God, Kate, classic drunk girl. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, what is happening with this girl? But the next week, I told Andrew that I think I'm interested in women, and I wanted to explore that. And so he said, okay.
That was his reaction? Like, he was just like, let's do it.
Yeah. He was like, can I watch? I'm like, that's vile. Absolutely not. No, I'd rather not.
Go on this journey alone.
Literally. Oh my God. Ugh. No, I can't even think about it.
Which also right there should tell you then you're probably not bi. It's summer, which means I've basically become a full-time chauffeur, driving the kids to camps, practices, their weekly Starbucks runs, and hangouts with friends. At this point, I practically live in my car. Thankfully, my Lincoln Aviator makes it all a little more enjoyable. The massage chairs are working overtime to keep my back in check on the long days, and on those hot days, the Lincoln app lets me start the car remotely so the AC is blasting when we get in. Let's also mention the cooling seats, which are a lifesaver so I don't burn my legs on the black leather.
Honestly, though, the best part was buying from Apple Autos. The process was easy, stress-free, and fair from the trade-in to the final paperwork. They're a family-owned business that gives back in big ways, from building homes with Habitat for Humanity to funding scholarships for students headed to trade schools and universities. You can follow them on Instagram at AppleAutosMN to see all the ways they support the community. And if you're shopping for a new vehicle, visit one of their 7 Twin Cities locations and tell them A Common Thread sent you. I started hormone replacement therapy in February, and in just a few short months, I finally feel like myself again. My team at Harmony Wellness has truly changed my life. When I first went in, I had a laundry list of symptoms and felt completely defeated after years of searching for answers with no real solutions. But Andrea and Ivy saw me, like really saw me, and their entire practice is dedicated to helping women optimize their health. They're constantly learning, staying ahead of the latest research, and I swear I have them on speed dial with all my questions. I've never once felt rushed or like a burden. They treat me like a partner in my care, not just another appointment. If you've been feeling stuck, I can't recommend Harmony Wellness enough. Book a free consultation and tell them A Common Thread sent you. You don't have to suffer in silence. They're here to help you feel whole again. If you've been to an event in Minneapolis recently, chances are your photo was taken by Profeshi. They've become the go-to photography studio in town. Whether it's headshots at their North Loop studio or capturing a night out with friends at a local event, they always deliver the best shots with the brightest, most memorable backdrops. And let's talk about their turnaround time. You'll get a link to the full event gallery within a few days, and if you book a personal session, you'll actually choose your favorite images to purchase before you even leave the studio. After working with photographers Nick and Taya so many times, they've truly become friends. They have a way of making you feel totally at ease, even if you're not used to being the star of your own show. If you've been putting off updating your headshots, let this be your sign to do it. And if you're stressing about what to wear, I've got you. I'm available as an add-on to your session. Planning your next event? Also think of Profeshi. Head to Profeshi.com to book your shoot today and tell them A Common Thread sent you.
Also, if you're out there and you're wondering if you're gay or not, and you're listening to this waiting to see if I say something magical that says like, oh yeah, you're gay, that definitely means you're gay. If you're like questioning it,
Okay.
am I gay? You're gay. You're at least bi.
Yeah. Aren't we all a little bit bi?
We're all women are bi. All men are bi. Everyone would do something with something.
I think women are very sexy. I would much rather go to a women's strip club than a men's.
Obviously, yeah.
And I have.
Well, and a lot of straight
And I've made out with women in my day.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, a lot of
I feel like that's just like a thing. But I can't see myself. The difference for me is like, I can't see myself actually in a relationship with a woman.
Yeah.
And I do really love dick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, like, oh my God. That's hilarious. No, the funny thing is too.
Sorry, Mom.
A lot of, sorry, Mom. A lot of women like lesbian porn. And and it's because it's safe. It's not like, it's softer a lot of times. And so I think, if there's probably straight women out there that's like, I only watch lesbian porn because it's safe. I think it's because a man isn't like berating a woman necessarily.
Right, for sure.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I told Andrew, I think I'm bi, I want to go explore this. And I got on the dating apps just to start talking to some women.
Also though, like I think that's so admirable of him to allow his wife to like really fully explore that.
I mean, just wait till you hear what he said when I actually came out.
Okay, keep going.
So, anyway, I started talking to these women, and when you are a new lesbian, especially femme lesbian, like, because I'm considered more femme, meaning like I dress more feminine. Mm-hmm. My partner Carly is more masculine dressing. Doesn't mean like that's your personality, but it's the way that you present yourself. In clothing, most likely. And so I started talking to these women. It was like chum in the water for sharks. I mean, it was like I was getting chats and everything. I probably was talking to 40 women at once, not actually talking, but in my, DMs or whatever. And it was super overwhelming. And also, I didn't know what my type was. Mm-hmm. And also, I felt really gross, like looping in these women into my like kind of very tumultuous like relationship at that point. And because a lot of times when you're on these dating sites and you're saying you're interested in women, it's a lot of people being like looking for our third, looking for our unicorn.
Oh, sure.
And I didn't want to put a woman in that position, even though I knew I was figuring things out and I deserved to kind of figure it out. I didn't want to put people into that position. And so I never actually met up with anybody when I was talking to them. But when I started talking to these women, I was more excited to talk to these strange women versus my own husband. Then I realized I was definitely gay.
Yeah.
So I remember I was on a walk with my dog Monty, my love, and I always talk to him on walks. I don't know if anyone else does it, but like out loud talks to my dog on walks.
No, but I feel like Karen and I are here for chat.
Right, yeah, you are, definitely. And I was like, okay, Mont, I'm gay. I know I'm gay.
So is that the first time you said it out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to my dog, yes. And I was like, I'm going to tell him. And I was like, I'm going to do it tonight. And so I go home, and I was making tacos, which is just like hilarious, I think. But I was just stirring the beef, and I told Andrew, hey, I think we got to talk for a minute. And I'm somebody that just like when I figure something out, because I've always been an indecisive person, when I figure it out, it's happening, it's done, that's it. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. So I just told him, hey, I'm gay, we got to get a divorce. It was silent for about 10 seconds, and then I was like, do you want to drink about it? And he goes, yep, okay, yeah. And he was like, I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah. Are you okay? And I said, yeah, I am okay. And I apologized, and he said, there's nothing to be sorry for. Like, he was very sweet. He was very sweet about it, and I feel very fortunate to have that situation. That night we had some drinks, and I took his Tinder profile pictures on the couch, and we were just like talking. And that night I started talking to my now partner, Carly. It was very kismet. And I was just like so excited to find this woman, and just like, oh my God, she's so pretty. And I remember showing Andrew, like, look at her. But Ding Dong Kate forgot to private her Instagram account, and I realized after talking with Carly all night that on my Instagram it was like she's married, like it's all over the place.
Sure.
And so the next morning I realized this, and she was like, I'll text you in the morning or whatever. And she hadn't texted me, and again I was like, she could have seen this, and I know I'm getting a divorce, I know I'm gay, but I don't want to put her in that position, so I just let her come to me if she did want to keep talking. And I was at Crisp and Green downtown in line, and I got a text, and I literally like made a squeal out loud, and this guy in front of me was like, are you okay? And I was like, yes, sorry, someone just texted me, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm gay now. But since then, we talked, Carly and I talked for probably 2 weeks, and she knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Like she thought worst case scenario, just like every lesbian would. Like she's looking for a third. She has an open marriage or something. And Carly's not like that. She's very like monogamous, and she doesn't date a lot of people. So she was like, I was really hoping that wasn't going to be the case, but I ended up telling her before we met for the first time, and she was like, oh, I knew Kate, I knew. But okay, so you're getting a divorce? I was like, yes, I'm in the middle of a divorce. I was sleeping on my air mattress at the time in my house. And that's where it got kind of weird with Andrew. He would get drunk, and then he would come to me and say like, come on, babe, time to go to bed, like stuff like that. And I don't blame him. It's just like we were both figuring it out.
Yeah.
But that's when I knew I had to leave and go to an Airbnb. But again, when I figure something out, I'm just going to say it. So I went to Thanksgiving, and that's where I came out to my entire family, too. And I just walked in, and they said, where's Andrew? And they're all freaking out like he was dying or something was wrong. And I told them, I'm gay, I'm getting a divorce. And it's like, my mom's like wind blowing against the pantry. My sister's crying. My dad is just like too stunned to speak. And then my aunt comes in, and I tell her, and she just looks at me with like so much joy, and she starts crying. She's like, I'm just so happy for you. And that was just like a really nice moment.
Yeah.
Because when you come out at 31, I'm sorry, I'm tearing up a little. It's a lot, it's people see you as a married woman, and you're 31. Like no one comes out that late. But
people do.
And my aunt was just like such a support system just right out the gate that it was amazing. I think my parents, it took them a minute to get around to it. I know they acted okay that day, but for the weeks to come, it wasn't good. You know, like me and my dad didn't talk for a while, and
you're close with your parents.
Yeah, I'm really close with my parents. So it was really hard. And
I remember I like cornered your dad at your wedding.
Literally. You said,
after a lot of wine, I remember like cornering your dad and like, it's so great.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're a close family. And so, especially me and my dad have always been close. Yeah. And he was just so hurt that he thought I was like lying to him for years. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
A lot of parents will do this too. They'll make it about them without them knowing, because they're used to, you know, a certain way of their kid, and if their kid tells them something that they had no idea, they feel very hurt. I think they can. And it was hard. I mean, like, I don't know if my dad will ever listen to this, but I had to be the adult. You know, he was not handling it well. I think my mom was better, but, you know, the first thing she said to me was, "Are you going to cut all your hair off?" You know, I was like, "No, Mom."
So do you think it was like the letting go of the life that they thought you were building, of like having children and being married? Or do you think it was like the idea that you are gay, like, and you're going to be with a woman now, or both?
You know, they are like liberal as can be, and they're very welcoming, and they're very good people. And but I do think it was both. I think they felt uncomfortable. You know, it's one of those things where it's like a huge thing is like, I didn't know any lesbians growing up. I knew a lot of gay men, but lesbians were just not out in the world as much, or they just weren't as loud. And it's sad, and I think it's because women are conditioned to be a certain way. And I think, you know, whether you agree with this or not, men just have a place in this world that's a lot more pronounced than a woman's, which is not okay. But I think women are like, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable, or, you know, I don't want confrontation. I don't want to
take up too much space.
Yeah. And so, and ever since I've come out, I am the opposite of that. You know, I am my full authentic self in every scenario, in every way I can be, just because there's no other way you should be after hiding in a closet for 31 years, you know? But yeah, I think it was both. You know, it was like they didn't know what to do, and they're scared, right? They're like, well, people will treat you differently. I'm like, let them.
Yeah.
I don't care.
They're not my people.
No. And it's like, believe me.
Did you lose a lot of friends or anything over after that, or not necessarily?
No. I mean, there was a couple friends, shockingly the one I made out with in the closet, never talked to me again.
And you know why? It's because she's still questioning Kelly her own.
Right, exactly.
Or she maybe is thinking, did I spin her life?
Yeah, it was me. No, definitely was not. But yeah, my friends were all great. I think it took them some time too. I'm a very open person about sex, about relationships, about literally anything you want to ask me, I will tell you about it, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But they would ask a lot of questions, and I think when you're coming out, they want a linear story. And I don't have a linear story. I can't tell you, like, here is the exact timeline of my story. And so I think that was something that was hard for me, is that I would have friends say, Kate, tell them your story, with like a stranger, because I like to tell stories and I'm okay at them, right? And so, but they would say, no, last time you said it was like this timeline or this timeline, and there is no timeline. Yeah. I mean, like, everything was all wrapped together. So I think that was the hard thing that I had to keep reminding them of, like, don't force somebody to tell a story and make it the way that you think it should be, you know? So that was hard. It was exhausting. I had to come out like to a million people at once, and I was so tired. But I had Carly to kind of come back to.
Yeah. How long have you guys been together now?
4 years.
She seems really. I mean, I don't know her at all.
She's
this is just truly from Instagram, but I think like there's something about her demeanor and her like little smiles that just seems really sweet and genuine.
Yes, she's so sweet.
And you guys look really cute together.
Yeah, she is. It's so
interesting that like your first lesbian experience is with the woman that you're still with. I
know. And people, Carly being one, was like, are you sure you want to do this? And since, again, when I make a decision, that decision is final. But I was 31 years old. I'm not looking to like fuck around with a million people. Yeah. And dating a woman is not for the weak at all. Like, it is so much fun, but it is so emotional.
Let's say, what's the biggest difference?
We like have our periods at the same time, and that's a nightmare. I just think I was never used to being so communicative. And like with Andrew, I could literally do anything or say anything to him. And he would go along with it. You know, they're simple creatures. Women are not. Women are very intellectual. My girlfriend being extremely intuitive, intellectual, like you can't mask yourself around them. And they want to talk to you about their problems and their things, and they want to, you know, they get upset if they're getting dressed and they don't like the way they look that day. Like a man is just not the same.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Carly will try on 1,000 different outfits and be like, oh, I hate it. I hate everything. You know, the classic, like, I'm not going, you know, and it's like, God damn it, Carly, like, we're going. Put
on a hat and get the
yes. I was like, oh, I have a zit today. I can't leave that. You know, it's just like stuff that you wouldn't, and I think the same thing. So it's like, you just, it's.
And there's two of you.
Yeah, it's crazy. And just like being out in the world, you know, people think we're sisters. And Carly and I look exactly opposite. Like she has blonde hair, like, you know, completely different skin tone, eye color, everything, but they're still like, ooh, sister day. And I'm like, oh God, no. What?
My sister-in-law and I went to Sonoma for a girls trip, and this was during Pride Month. And so we're there, and I had my like rainbow beaded bag, and she had her rainbow hat, and kind of like unintentionally, like we just like brought it, and we're by the pool, and all of a sudden she goes, "You think people think we're lesbians?" I was like, God, I hope so.
I hope so. Oh my God, seriously.
And then there was another like lesbian couple that were there.
There's like,
and I was like, I bet they want to like hang out with us. Like it was like a whole storyline.
Oh, 100%. And you know, every lesbian couple, they will clock you the second you walk in if you are a lesbian couple, or if they think you are, they'll be like, oh, and they'll tell each other, lesbians, you know?
Really?
Oh yeah, Carly and I do that all the time. It's so funny. But no, it's crazy dating a woman, but it's so fun because you're like best friends.
Yeah. And
you get together, you connect so much faster than you do with a man, because you have so many things in common. And Carly's an artist, and she's very creative, and I'm the loud, crazy one that's, you know, has the more structured lifestyle, structured job. She has, you know, an artist life, and so she's up for 3 days, or she's sleeping for a whole day because she just worked for 3 days. You know, it's things like that took us a while to get used to, but yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun.
I am so happy for you. And I feel like you've really like immersed yourself in the LGBTQ plus community. Like I see you doing a lot of things, and
I mean, having community is so important. And I've never.
What's the vibe now? Because politically, it's a mess. So how do you feel that at all?
Yeah. I mean, Carly and I are just scared all the time that we're not going to be able to get married, and that's something that you have to think about. And it's hard, because like if you talk to somebody about that doesn't get it, they will say, oh, you're fine, but you're really not. Like our rights can be taken away tomorrow with the way the world is, and you know what that horrible man is basically doing at any time of day. I have gay friends that have like go bags in case like we need to run to Canada. Like I
love Canadians though. Every Canadian I've ever met I've loved. I was just talking about this the other day. I was like, I've never been to Canada, but I feel like they're my people.
Oh yeah. I know. I was telling Carly that I was like, what are the odds that like the nicest, best country in the world is attached to the worst? Yeah. Like, it's crazy to me. Yeah. But yeah, it's scary. But I think, you know, we've been around for centuries. You know what I mean? All through history, and so I think the community knows how to be loud, and they're ready to basically have a fight. You know what I mean? Like
What would you say to someone who is in a similar situation where they're ready to come out, but they're terrified because of what's happening? Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be scary stuff that's happening. I think the people that I mostly want to talk to especially are the people that are married and in that environment too, where they're scared to come out. I think it's scarier to stay into this and live this lie of a life than it is to just come out and be yourself and figure it out from there. I mean, it's scary. It's always going to be scary. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's always something that's going to be bad, but you might as well find those little joys in life of being like your true authentic self, because then you're going to be able to attack these things differently. Like old Kate would have never been able to, you know, find my way into the world like I have now if I hadn't have allowed myself to be who I truly was, you know.
Yeah, I mean, in, you know, different, but when I'm working with people on finding their style, I've started doing these talks with corporations where the organization will hire me to come in and talk about like how to start authentically showing up as yourself in the office and like dressing from an energetic soul level. And what I found is like when I'm working one-on-one with people and they start doing this, like they're better at their job. Yeah. They're more productive. They're happier. They're speaking up. And that's just in terms of like the style. But if you start really authentically living your truest self, we do better. And if everybody could just get to a place where we're comfortable with that. And I know it takes a lot of courage, and I'm an oversharer, and I've always been that way, and I'm just comfortable in the uncomfortable. And I think that has served me well, but I can't stay in situations anymore where I feel like I have to mask or
I know. Or just not be yourself, or
be around people who drain me. I do get drained. I'm always like I'm an extrovert in like the truest sense. Like I get my energy from people, but as I've gotten older, I realized I actually get energy from my kind of people. There are a lot of people where like I opt out of social situations now where I would have always just said yes to, but I'm like, you know what?
Because it's just not the
same. They really drain me.
It's because you have to show up differently. Because you're gonna make people feel uncomfortable because they're not going to reciprocate your
Although energy. I kind of like to make people feel uncomfortable.
Oh, it is really fun.
I love the like shock value.
Are you kidding me? Yes, hello. Why do you think I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm gay, I'm getting a divorce. What do you think? You know what I mean? Like part of it was like, how are they going to react? And that's how I did it. That's how I came out to everybody. Just to, I don't know. I think it's the only way I know how to live anymore, just because in the past I didn't know what my style was. We call her Straight Kate, and she did not know how to dress. I have a hilarious photo album in my phone where it's like straight to gay, and Carly's like, I don't know who that person is. Like I look so different.
Yeah, you do. I've noticed that too. But I think you have like a really cool style.
Thank you.
And I think it's always been there. But it was like corporate Kate.
Yeah. Corporate
you
Kate,
know?
Straight Kate, corporate Kate. Yeah, she was. And to your point though, when I started dressing like myself, I started. It's the way that you get more decisive when you're feeling more like yourself, because now you know I like this. Not is this something that people are wearing? Is this what I should be wearing? What's the appropriate attire? No, just wear what you want to wear. I think it is amazing what that does to your energy alone.
Sure.
So fashion does a lot. I mean, I feel so much more myself when I can dress like this, or I'll dress more masc one day, I'll dress really femme one day, I'll dress all different types, just because it's just however you feeling that day.
That's what I say. I like wake up, I'm like, what's my vibe today?
Yeah, what's the vibe?
Instead of being like, what's everyone wearing?
Yeah.
I've stopped that like texting of the group and be like, what are we wearing? I'm like, well, how do I want to show up today? What's my vibe today?
Yeah.
And I could care less if I show up and all the neighbors are dressed cute and I'm in sweatpants.
Yeah.
Like, I'm comfy today.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
They usually expect me to be over the top, and that's fine. Like, that's on brand.
Hey, you're never overdressed, is what I say. That's on brand for sure. I know you would always. I will never forget when we did that party in Oakland, and I'm pretty sure I wore a poncho that I bought at like a local store, and you had this amazing like hot pink like suit vibe on, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me wearing a poncho?
Oh, I do remember. It was like a gray and black stripe.
It was so ugly.
Or something?
Yes. It was so
bad. I love that boat party. That
was fun.
Okay. I remember me vomiting on the plane.
Oh my God. We were so hungover.
That was terrible.
It was a good time.
That's probably the only time I really got along with Johnny.
Literally.
Just kind of on that trip.
Oh my God. But no, it's crazy what it does. And I think, so when I came out, I got 3 promotions in a row. And I was an account manager, and then I became a team lead right away, and then I became a manager, and now I'm the director. And it's just, when you show up in your authentic self, everything else kind of falls into play. It's crazy.
I have goosebumps.
I know.
Absolutely. I believe that. I have worked with clients, and I've watched their career grow since working with them, and I still get messages from them of like, oh my God, I walked in this meeting. I had one the other day. She was like, I'm walking into a meeting. I'm closing the first 7-figure sales deal for the organization. I'm the only female in the room, and I feel like a boss because of you. Yeah. And I'm just like, makes me want to cry. Like, I get so excited for them of just knowing that they were confidently walking these situations in rooms where they probably wouldn't be if they weren't showing up as their most authentic self. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's so much different for women.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, like when I was dressing more, I don't know, low key, I guess, and unsure, people didn't really, I wouldn't say respect me, but they didn't listen like they do now. You know, when you show up and you just come off as different and unique.
You command attention.
Yeah, and it does make a huge difference. So funny, people think I'm so intimidating at work. That's all I get. I think respectfully intimidating, where I'm such a big baby. Like, you know, I do cry a lot.
I used to get that though too. I remember I got passed up for a promotion a cappella because he said that I always dress so pulled together. Well, hearsay, but it was that I always dressed so pulled together that they didn't think I would be relatable to that department.
What?
And I was like, okay, wait. So because I put effort into my appearance, I am suddenly like not good. Like, you want me to look sloppy? Like, I was just so hurt and confused by that. And they're like, well, he's from a small town, so it's probably. I'm like, why is this okay? But why is this okay?
And why are we like changing ourselves to make this man feel more comfortable?
Yeah, but that's basically the whole environment.
And they all dressed absolutely terribly at Capella. All of them. Sorry if you're listening, but it was bad. Me included, you know, so it's fine.
I'm the only one looking good.
Yeah, literally. Amy
trying to help everybody else.
Yes,
I was silent so many people.
Oh, well, I have my rule of 3. You know, I still remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was my first Wednesday slide. Topic.
No.
Are you still in touch with Andrew?
Oh, there's so many stories with that.
Complicated?
You know, he started treating me like his bro after a minute. Like, I found out he was intimate with one of my close friends, a closer friend. She was at my wedding, and which is fine, but like, it was all very secretive, and you know, he told me that in a very gross way. You know, I don't even know if I want to make him. I don't know if he'll probably. I don't know if he'd listen to this, but I'll feel bad if I say what he said. But it was bad.
Yeah.
You know, talking about, it was like objectifying her, and just like, if it was like locker room talk, you know what I mean? It's like, no, just because I like women doesn't mean I like stare at their tits 24/7.
Right.
I mean, I glance.
And that I want to know what you're doing with them either.
Right. Yeah. I don't need to know that. Yeah. And so, you know, I felt bad for him though. You know, I am a very likable person, and I think we did have good banter, and like, we did have a lot of fun.
I think I saw him one time, by the way. It was like New Year's Eve. I think it was around New Year's Eve. Maybe not New Year's Eve, but it was around that time of year. And Chris and I were staying at the W, and we were up at the Prohibition Bar. Yeah. And I swear I saw him. Like, we kind of looked at each other like we knew each other, but he wasn't with you. Yeah. And I was like, and I didn't know anything about your story. I mean, I saw your post, but I didn't know anything else. And so I was like, Chris, I'm like, should I go say hi? Because like, we were at their wedding, and he's like, I don't think you should, because like, you knew Kate, like you only knew him briefly, like through her.
And like, what would you have said?
Right. What happened? How are you? I know.
Pretty good.
So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like a lame date. They were not.
Oh my God. I will never forget this time. Like, the universe is so funny. So many random stuff has happened to me ever since coming out of running into Andrew, or some weird moments. But the best time was when me and Carly and our 2 friends, Jess and Mac, went to a movie, and it's where you reserve your seats, right? We went into this movie theater, and there was nobody there except for 2 people that were right in front of us, and it was Andrew and his girlfriend.
No way.
And so I get in front of him, I'm like, hey. And Carly was like, oh my God, Kate. I was like, how's it going? And I think she was very uncomfortable, which is so funny to me, because it's like, what, do you think I like him?
Yeah.
No. But we sat behind each other the entire time, or we sat behind them the entire time. But it's funny, I guess not funny, but I really resonated when you had mentioned like you had a physical reaction to feeling like unsafe when you saw Johnny. I had a full-blown panic attack in the movie the entire time, just because it's like, when this trauma that you've experienced is right in front of you, you don't know how your body's going to react. it was crazy. I had to leave
Yeah.
and like take a breath in the bathroom, and I didn't really know why. Cause I'm like, I'm so happy right now, and I'm so good. Why is he affecting me like this? But it's just I was so sad and depressed during my, time married, and for a lot of time, I think after college, that it just all came back.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I can see that.
Yeah. But I will never forget when I got to move out. I was like, I got to leave. Andrew's like, he's uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. We owned a house together. So I went and got an Airbnb. I took the dog. He kept the cats. And me and
Randy?
Monty. Yeah. Kurt. Randy.
Oh
my God, that's so funny. But we went to this Airbnb, and it was kind of in a rough part of Uptown, but I will never forget how unbelievably happy I was.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there, my first day there, and I was just like having a beer, doing my nails, and like getting ready for a date with Carly, and I started crying. I was like so happy. It was crazy. And so I just didn't think you could be happy like that, or like get butterflies or get excited to talk to somebody. Carly and I would talk on the phone for like 6 hours, and so I just was never able to have that type of connection in my entire life. That it just hit me like a brick wall. It was awesome. And then I ended up getting an apartment, my first apartment, me and Monty, and I was supposed to move into this one apartment, but it fell through, and it ended up being Carly and I's apartment were 1 block away from each other in Uptown. So it was really fun.
And now you guys have a house together, right?
Now we have a house, yep. Yeah.
I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you for making the tough decisions and choosing yourself over the discomfort of anyone else's feelings. And
Thank you.
thank you for being on here and for being vulnerable. I know that this is going to help somebody. I really hope it does.
I hope so. I hope people know, like, it's never too late.
Yeah.
And
to
like,
choose you.
Yeah. And you could be married, you could have kids, it could be any scenario, but you just have to make that one first step, and it will all fall into place.
Yeah.
It'll work out. It just doesn't feel like that at the time.
Last question that I ask everybody is, what is one thing that you believe connects us all as humans? It's one common thread.
I think it's our need to feel like we belong and have a community. I think there's this ache for wanting to know our purpose, and again, having that sort of safe community to fall onto that we all need. However that shows up for you in your life. And I think I've really come to realize that ever since coming out and having this community of gay women and gay men, and just the whole queer community is just, it makes you feel like you have a purpose and you belong somewhere, and it's very, very.
I always say there's someone for everyone, because sometimes you see the
weirdest
the weirdest stuff, and you're like, oh, but there's someone for everyone.
Yeah. It's like those people in my high school that were in tails. There was like 20 of them, you know what I mean? And they had a good time. So it's like, I called them furries. But it's just, everyone wants that feeling of acceptance and belonging. And I just think, if you are looking for it and you haven't found it, you'll find it one day. It's just hard.
Is there any, last question, I guess, is there anything from the straight community that we can do to show up and support right now, especially with everything that's happening politically?
Yeah, I think it's just, I think the straight community can forget, and I think this goes for anybody if it's not impacting them directly, of what could happen. And I think it's trying to see what is happening in this world from a different point of view.
Yeah.
And understand, like, this is going to impact somebody. It might not impact you directly, but it's going to impact somebody, and we got to show up and be there for them. And you can't just put it to the side. It goes, Black Lives Matter, all these things that are happening. It's not just the gay community, but I think we need to try to come at it as one person versus, a million different people in our own little worlds. We got to come out of that. Yeah.
All right, done.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I would assume that if you have questions and want to chat with Kate offline, that she would make herself available. I'll put her Instagram in the show notes so that you can reach out to her if you are in a similar situation and need a friend.
Yeah, I would love to talk to anybody about
Amazing.
that.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. See you next time.